one of my friends, she decided to sign me up for my first marathon
Oh,
as a
perfect.
surprise.
You are listening to the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, brought to you by Salty Electrolytes. On this podcast, your host, Riley Rogers, explores the stories of people who get after it, get things done, and earn their salt. You will hear from high achievers who discuss what makes them tick, how they got to where they are today, and where they're headed tomorrow. Perhaps this podcast will help you go earn your salt. Welcome to the show today. We have Kasey Kuker on here, and Kasey and I met just a few weeks ago at the Pocatello Marathon. And Pocatello is a small town in Idaho of about 60,000 people, and it's where I grew up. I was there for the Salt Electrolytes, promotion event, and Kasey came up to me and we just got into conversation about a goal that she has been working on for a little while. And it was much faster than I thought, but it was to run a marathon in 50 states, on all 50. And she completed that. I want to talk to her about that today. So Kasey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Riley. I'm honored to be on your podcast today.
Super cool to talk to you there. I talked to a few actually. I think by the time the weekend or the day was over, we were just a 1 day event. But by the time it was there, I had met, 15 people, I think, that had completed all 50. Um,
Wow, that's
but what
fantastic.
stood out about you was the speed that you did it in. I was kind of shocked because of the logistics of that, right? And so I want to talk
Yes.
to you a ton about that as this podcast goes on. We talk with high achievers on here. And first, let's talk about Kasey, who she is, where she grew up, what life looked like as a kid.
Okay. Okay, great. Yes, so I was born and raised in a small town of Ironwood, Michigan. So that's in the Upper Peninsula. It's right on the border of Wisconsin. So, lovely town, absolutely beautiful. I try to go back and visit as much as possible. My whole family still lives there, and it's just an outdoor enthusiast's paradise. Everything you can imagine outdoors, as well as many beautiful waterfalls, hiking, Lake Superior, of course. My parents' house was about 20 miles south of Lake Superior, so that's pretty much where my sister and I went every summer. So,
Yeah. I've never spent any time out in the Midwest. It's something I definitely want to do. My son's got a bunch of friends over in Michigan, and he yeah, he loves to go out there and likes the scenery and just likes all the, because they call Michigan land of the thousand lakes, right? Is that
Minnesota.
correct? Or is
Yes,
it's
so
Minnesota that's that one? Okay.
Minnesota is, yes.
Yeah. Is it 1,000 or 10,000? I can't remember.
10,000. You got it. You had it
Yeah.
right. Yes.
We're cluing in there, huh? So,
Yeah.
um, so this running thing, like, a lot of people, they talk about running almost like it's torture. But you got something to say about that, I imagine. And I'm a running fan. I've kind of backed off that in the last few years because I've been in the jiu-jitsu world and been really focused there, but I always plan on getting back to running. And so talk about that part. Like what eventually took you that direction?
That's an excellent question. And for a while, I would 100% agree with you that running was torture. In high school, I was on the tennis team. So
Ooh,
if we did not play well, if we lost a game, whatever the cause, we had to run. And none of us really liked running. So I I always saw running as a punishment. It wasn't something fun. It was you did something wrong, you need to go run. And that kind of changed when I got my first job at Mayo Clinic in the laboratories. And a couple of my coworkers loved running, and I did not understand them. But I wanted to to know them more. I wanted, hopefully make good friendships. So I said, well, why not? Let's give it a try. So they were running 5Ks and 10Ks, and I joined them for a couple of those races and discovered that I actually do really like it. And it doesn't have to be a punishment. It's a fun thing. We'd go run around the Minnesota Zoo or run around a course where there are live bands. And it was in those environments, it was seen as a very positive, fun thing. And one of my friends, she decided to sign me up for my first marathon
Oh,
as a
perfect.
surprise. So,
Hey, by the way, dude, so
yeah,
this was a half, you said.
it was a full.
Oh, it was a full.
It was it was
So,
a it was a full marathon.
so happy surprise, just signed you up for this. You didn't know about it, but you're about to do 26.2 miles.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, how far had you run up to that point? What was your farthest distance?
A 10K, so 6.2 miles.
6.2 miles, and you could go 20 more. Yeah, this is great.
Right? Right. What's another 20 more?
So,
So
how far before the event did she tell you you were signed up for this thing?
this was approximately, I want to say November, and the marathon was May 1st of the next
Okay, so
year.
you had a
So,
reasonable amount of time, but that's not going from longest ever as a 10K to a 26 to, that's what, 6 months.
right. Not a
That's a
lot of
reasonable
time.
amount of time, but it's not super long, right?
Exactly.
How did it
Yes.
go?
It actually went really well. I mean, I couldn't walk for a solid week because I just, we did a bunch of 10Ks together. We did a half marathon together leading up to it, but that was the furthest I ran was that half marathon beforehand. So definitely not enough training. Hadn't We had no idea what we were doing. Um,
Oh,
just
shoot.
decided, well, just go out. It was the Big Sur Marathon out in California on Highway 1. So very
So that's got a lot
hilly.
of elevation change. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Holy
So
cow.
I I survived. I was still walking afterward. I don't know how I happened to run it under 4 hours. And we ran it to support the American Cancer Society as well. So we also raised some funds for that cause, which was very, very special. So it could have been really bad, but it was actually a great experience.
I'm kind of curious because you said something earlier. I do want to go down this path where you're talking about with almost making too big a jumps from training run of 13.2 or 13.1, excuse me, and then jumping all the way to double that, and not being able to walk for a week as a result. I do want to come back to that,
Okay.
but I want to back up a little bit because you said running had been punishment, which was to me, as you said that, kind of enlightening because I never really thought about how many of us through junior high, high school, um, gosh, when I played baseball, if we did something wrong, if we were late to practice, yeah, we got to run, and it was always a punishment. I never really thought about that as a factor on why maybe people don't like running. Um, yeah,
Yes, I,
yeah,
I
that's
think that's a
fascinating.
great reflection, and I completely agree with you. It's running as punishment unless you are in track or cross country. I feel like that is your punishment for most other sports.
Yeah, it's push-ups or running, right?
Yes, or push-ups.
Do So did you run any cross country? Did you do any of that?
I dabbled in it in high school.
Okay.
Um, wasn't very serious about it. I was in cross country until the first meet, which was around a very hilly golf course, and then I was done. That was it. And I went back to tennis.
I The reason I'm kind of asking there is because there was, I knew people who ran and they enjoyed it. I was one of those, I never understood it. I didn't actually start running until I was, gosh, 28.
Okay.
I was this kid who would skip. I learned this when we would do runs in our junior high PE class. They would break the teams into a set of students who was the A team who would run the first half of the class, and
Okay.
they'd get there, 15 minutes or 2 miles, whatever it happened to be we were running that day. And then the second set would go. Well, what I would do is I would wait as group two. And then as soon as group one went in, I would fall in with them and just start, fake breathing hard and walk around like I was tired. And they just lost track of me in the crowd. And so I wouldn't run anything. I didn't run my entire eighth grade year at all.
That's
And
so sneaky.
oh, it was sneaky, but I regretted it later. I was like, man, what a pansy. Because I in seventh grade I could run sub 6:30 miles as a
Wow.
13-year-old, right? So I was reasonable, but I didn't think so because we had this one kid who ran a 4:57 mile in
Wow.
seventh grade. And I remember thinking, I'm a slow turd, not realizing at all that 6:30 is not really that bad for that age group.
Right.
Um, and, but that was the end of it. I wasn't even close to him. And it just felt like, yeah, why bother? I suck at this. So I quit.
Oh.
Regretted it until later. But then, you know, I, because I pushed that pace as a kid, that's what I remembered is that pain of that. Like I was on the edge of I just thought we had to run
Mhm.
as fast as we could all the time. And
Ah.
as an adult, I would go, run around the block or I'd go, try to do a mile. It'd about kill me. And I didn't realize you could actually slow down and have a manageable pace.
Oh, yes.
Did you ever
Yes.
experience that?
Yes. I think that's also a very common belief is if I'm running and as hard as I possibly can. But that's not marathoning.
I
If you're doing a
I didn't know that.
mile or maybe a 5K, sure, you want to go as hard as you possibly can the whole time. But if you're going a longer distance, sure, we need to kind of think about pace and saving yourself for the last 10K of the marathon. So,
It's funny because it seems silly that I didn't put that together, right? I went out as an adult. I'd hit kind of the highest weight I ever hit. I was on 240 pounds. And that's when I started running, right? And it was
okay.
a friend of mine talked me into it. And I got out there and I ran and I'm looking at, I had a little GPS that would kind of tell me the pace I was running. And so I'm trying to hit like a 7:30 pace at 240 pounds, right?
Wow.
I'm dying out
Impressive.
here. I'm like, how am I ever going to get to a 10K or a half marathon? And there's no way I can sustain this for that length of time. And he came out with me one day, this guy that invited me, and he says, we take off running on this little route we were going up in the foothills of Boise, and he's just going so slow, and I'm like, what are we doing? I thought we were running, and he's like, how far do you think we're going, dude? Like, no, this is what running looks like, and that was the first time that ever occurred to me. Slow down.
Oh. Well,
It
I
was
think that's so cool. And, major props for you for going after it as an adult, giving it a chance. And, trying new things can be scary sometimes. So
for sure,
that's great.
for sure. Yeah, super interesting. So I asked you, and I want to hear a little bit more, but when you had that revelation that there was a way to enjoy running, what was it that kind of kicked you over that edge?
I think it was the community, the amount of people who were there doing that race, and everybody was smiling and laughing and going at their own pace. Sure, there were people who were super fast and just trying to crush it, but most of the other people in those races were just simply running with other friends and smiling and having what seemed to be a really good time. So I think it was just seeing, all ages, um, all body types. It was just kind of like a whole community. Anybody can do this kind of feeling
Yeah.
that turned it around for me.
Yeah, it's always a fun environment, right? You get out there and there's the crowds that are in tutus, the ones that,
Yes.
there always seems to be, one dude in the group that's like wearing jeans and runs the whole thing. And there's, the
I'm so
people in
jealous.
costumes and, oh, I know. We've got a guy around here that runs different events, but he always shows up in these cut off jeans and they're tight. They're like the tight ones. And I don't know how he does it and doesn't just chafe out.
He must wear a lot of body glide or something.
Something, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so for people who aren't runners, there's some funny things that happen in the running world. And when you start, especially you start getting up, above 10K, just really about anything above 10K, especially for guys, we don't have undergarments under our shirts, and so we have to put band-aids on our little nipples because we it'll wear your t-shirt will wear them off. And I was riding my mountain bike one day, and there was an event going on our foothills, and it's an off-road race. It was 18
Okay.
miles or something was the distance. And this poor dude comes running by me. He's got a white shirt on, and it's just two blood marks all the way down
Oh.
to his belly. And I just kind of had to
Ouch.
laugh because I'm, yeah, I forgot your band-aids, dude. This
Oh,
and so
unfortunately that's a scene in most races. It's
yeah,
yeah, the blood dripping down the chest.
yeah, we don't realize this. It's sensitive. Then you're yeah, then you're sore for a week. So you when you said body glide, that kind of reminded me of that because again, folks who don't know, that's a like a what do you call that? Like a lubricant, right? That
Yes.
you put in those areas that rub, and you
Yes.
can get them all over the place.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. Tell us about this wall of medals you got behind you there. Are those set
Oh,
up for different events or what's different distances?
they so it's every race I've done since I ran my first race, and I keep them in order. So
Oh,
it's all distances, marathons, halves, 10 miles, 10Ks, 5Ks. So I displayed those behind me on the wall, and then I have one of those like scrapbook people who do scrapbooking, one of those that I keep all of my race bibs in order of the
wow.
races I've done. So
That's amazing. That's a lot. So do you have a count? How many have you done?
I just Pocatello a few weeks ago was my 71st marathon. I think I'm up to 65 half marathons, and I'm
That's
really not
legit.
sure on the other races how many 10-mile and 10Ks I've done.
I yeah, I don't think people realize how unusual that is. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You know,
Thank you.
most of us I've got like 7 medals, like 7. And I don't even know if I still
Okay.
have them because to me it was just like they were around and maybe they're still around somewhere. My wife would know. I don't think I have any on my
Okay.
bookshelf, but
Okay.
I look back there and look at yours, and it looks like you need heavy duty, like to reinforce that wall to hold all that weight up.
Probably should. I probably should have checked the sustainability of the wall
Oh my
before putting them
goodness.
all up there. Oh,
That's pretty cool.
funny.
One of these days you'll hear a loud noise and they'll be laying on the floor.
Oh,
Out
hopefully
of
not
order.
anytime soon. I have it written down. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. So you're a little bit OCD there, huh?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, let's get back to this. I said I'd bring it back around, and I want to do that to this training thing, right? What's a good training strategy? What advice would you give somebody who's wanting to go from, you know, like I did, from a sedentary life to a life of running? What's the way to step into that and not kill themselves?
That's a great question. I think finding a decent plan, whether reaching out to a certified coach or online, there are all sorts. Like Hal Higdon is a pretty famous one. But finding a plan that works for you for your lifestyle. How much time do you have? Um, but absolutely not going from couch to marathon is I would not recommend that. So I think one of the big things that I usually recommend is if you want to start running and you want to keep up with it, is to find a goal race that is 6 to 9 months down the road, and it's a reasonable goal for your lifestyle. So if you're super busy, maybe it's a 10K or a half marathon. If you have more time, maybe it is a marathon. But finding a plan that gradually builds up mileage while also incorporating some rest days and like real rest days. And I didn't really figure that out until a few years ago that rest actually means no running. It's not, oh, just 3, 4 miles. No, it's 0 miles. Um, so having a rest day or two, and then also I think there are just such huge benefits to cross training as well. So you're not beating up the same muscles over and over. But So finding a goal race that's a reasonable distance in the future and then just building up to that. Um, another big thing I highly recommend is finding a community. Get a hold of your local run club, or maybe you have a friend who does like running, and they'd be willing to get you started on, some maybe some walk runs to start with, and then gradually move that up to just running, and then building up mileage that way as well. So many options.
Yeah, I think that's good advice because you mentioned finding a local run club, right? And there's
Mhm.
where would people find that sort of thing?
I think even a quick Google search. So, like, in Pocatello, just search for Pocatello Running or Pocatello Run Club, or even going to your local running store, because they probably have those resources as well. But like here, if you search Rochester Running or Rochester Running Club, our club will come up, and we have a whole website of resources, and we actually do have a program for beginning runners as
Cool.
well. We call it the STEP project. So
Those
we have a
types. So is that something
5K and a
anyone can get?
yes.
Oh, that'd be cool. You'll have to
Hmm.
tell us what that website is. Do
Sure.
you know that off?
It's rochesterrunningclub.org.
Okay. And on that could be a plan because I think that's a big deal. You talked about that jump from half marathon all the way up to marathon, which is, we alluded to it, but that's way too big of a jump
Way too big.
to healthily cross, right? You can do it, you did it, but you
Yes.
suffered for it, right?
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't
And I
wise.
mean, I was much younger as well, so a little bit more resilience in the younger body. Uh, so also maybe younger people could do it, but yeah, right, I still suffered for a solid week. Walking was tough.
Yeah. Were you dealing with shin splints or just hips and hip flexors and all that kind of stuff to get sore calves?
Oh yeah, hip flexors and quads and hamstrings. Just trying to sit down on a chair was painful. So gradual
You,
increase. I highly recommend.
yeah. So when you say gradual, like how gradual? I've heard the rule that it's like no more than 10% per week. I've
Hmm.
questioned that even at times, when I've been going through a plan and I'm like, gosh, 10% a week's even a little aggressive. Um, Maybe not once you get to a certain condition. I think once you're maybe in half marathon condition to add another 10% per week might be okay. And that first, 5K or 10K, that 10% seems pretty aggressive.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I think listening to your body is the most important part of ramping up. So I think you're right. Most plans do say 10%, but if your body isn't feeling 10%, it's also okay to stop, because you're helping your body uh, a lot more by, stopping at 7 miles versus if your plan said 10 and you're just aching and not feeling it. It's a way smarter decision to stop at 7 than to say, no, I'm tough. I'm going to push through this. I'm going to get to 10 because that's what my plan says.
Yeah.
So,
No, so that's tough. And I imagine you've probably struggled with that too. I just, maybe not, but that
yes.
little ego hit of I didn't hit my goal today can be tough to deal with. What do you do to deal with that?
Oh, that is the toughest. And that is something, yeah, I think it's just sometimes you learn the hard way, and yeah, you get IT band stress and overuse injuries in your tendons, uh, and then you learn. Then you learn, okay, I should have stopped. But it is difficult when you commit to a plan, and especially runners, and we're so bad. um, you see that number on your plan for that Saturday long run, and you just need to hit it because you're a tough marathoner, and this is what you do, and it's gonna hurt on race day, so we need to know what it feels like to hurt during training, but it's just not worth it sometimes.
Yeah, I think sometimes I did this thing one time where I overdid it and I ended up um, with shin splints, right? And once you cross that line and end up with bad, then it's hard to rebuild from there because the
Yes.
time you have to take to undo those things and then ramp back up, that can offset an entire event. Like you end up missing the event because you overdid it one day.
Hmm.
Uh, Speak to that a little bit. Have you ever dealt with one of those nagging injuries that had made you not be able to complete an event?
Yeah.
All right, you sweaty buggers. That liquid dripping off your forehead and down your back contains minerals that are critical for high performance. If you don't put those minerals back, you're not going to perform well. This is where salty electrolytes comes in. Salt contains 6 electrolyte minerals plus a touch of iodine to help you replenish after a hard workout. Salt is the only electrolyte supplement to pair every mineral with its counterpart, giving you the most robust mineral profile on the market, period. Head over to goearnyoursalt.com today to get some for yourself. Use the code GOEARNYOURSALT to get 15% off your first order. And now, my friends, go earn your salt.
Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, the injuries that we get, marathoners get, do take us out for. It's not a day. It's like 6 to 8 weeks, and
Yeah.
it's devastating. Um, it's devastating not only mentally but also to the bank account because you've paid hundreds of dollars for the registration and the hotel and the flight and
Yeah.
whatever else, and sure you can still go. Um, but it's incredibly disheartening. So highly recommend just listening to your body when something is it's more than the typical soreness. It's stabbing or it's
Mm-hmm.
so extremely painful. Just to stop and back off. Because yes, I have missed a couple races, and it oh the FOMO is terrible. Seeing seeing all the race
FOMO is
photos
fear
and
of missing out, right?
right, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
That
oh, I should have.
that's it's a terrible thing. So I started doing the barefoot running thing back in the 2009 10, when it was
Okay.
first becoming the thing, and I was the guy who went out too far too fast on feet that had always been in shoes, and I broke something in my foot, and
Oh
I was
no.
going for a 10K. I wanted to run a 10K, and yeah, I don't know what I did, but I was just, I overdid a run, and I say I broke it. I don't know that I actually did. I never had it really looked at, but I couldn't hardly walk for several weeks. It
Oh
was
no.
it was bad limping. My wife ended up doing the event instead of me because I was signed up and we didn't want to let you mentioned the finances part of it, and it's like we're not letting that bib number go. She's going to be me for the
Right.
day. But yeah, it was because I didn't have patience, right? I got out
Mm-hmm.
there and overdid it. The following year, I ended up doing a half marathon barefoot, and it was cool, but I
Wow.
built up slow, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Very smart.
yeah. Well, you mentioned something that the thing that sparked the conversation between you and I was your goal to do a marathon in all 50 states.
Yes.
You mentioned the finances part of that. You mentioned just the airplane tickets and hotels and all this kind of stuff. Tell us this first. What year did you start that process? And then how long did it take you to finish all 50?
Okay. So I ran that first marathon in at Big Sur in California. That was May of 2011. And at that point, I had no idea what the Boston Marathon was. I really just was not educated at all in running or the running world or the hype or anything about it. Um, but the the feeling that I can't even put into words crossing the finish line of that marathon, really just being so naive and not knowing what I was doing, but just the elation that I felt I guess I didn't think I could actually do it until it actually happened. It just really sparked a fire in me. So I went to school in Duluth at UMD, and that's the big Grandma's Marathon. It's pretty popular, big event in June. And I had been studying there over the summers too, doing research, and I went out and cheered on the runners and just thought, oh, those people are so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
What a great event, and everybody gathers usually in the last 6 miles along the course, and just really cheer the runners on really loudly, and there's a big party and there are bands afterward, and I just thought, gosh, if I ever run a marathon, I think it would have to be Grandma's, because this is the kind of environment and support that I think would really help me get to that finish line.
Sure.
Um, so that Grandma's ended up being my second marathon, because that fire from my first one really, I'm like, okay, I can be that person. So I'm gonna do it. Um, and then at Grandma's, I qualified for Boston, and
Hey, pause on that for a second, okay?
okay,
So this is your second marathon,
yes,
and you qualified for. So I just want to put this in context because when you're talking about the New York City Marathon or Boston or one of these big ones, and you say
hmm
qualify, people have to understand what that means. So, what is the
okay,
pace that you have to average for 26.2 miles in order to qualify for these?
that's a great question. So it depends on your age and gender. So at that time, I actually still in my that age group, I needed to run a 3:35
3 hours,
marathon time.
35 minutes, which I'd
Correct.
love to be good at math, but you're what,
That's
8 minutes and
approximately
some
like an
change? 8 minutes?
10 maybe
Yeah.
per mile
Yeah.
is a
Me, that's mind blowing
3:35.
because I'm just way slower than that. So,
Okay.
there's no qualifying for one of those in this guy. Um, yeah,
Oh, you
I
never
was so
know.
proud of
Maybe.
myself one year. One year I did a 5K and I averaged 7:57 because I broke that 8 meter or 8 minute mile. I was so jacked.
Yes.
But yeah, so to be at kind of right close to that pace for 26 to me is mind blowing. It's mind
Oh,
blowing. And
oh,
I
thank you.
so I'm so impressed with that. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh,
impressive.
thank you. Oh, you brought up a great point just now, though, is that that was your goal to run it sub 8-minute miles. And that's another thing that I absolutely love about running, is because it's your own personal goals. You're really only competing against yourself. So it's the goals that you set for yourself, and if you can accomplish those, I just think that's amazing, and that's so personalized to running. There really isn't another sport where you're just competing against yourself.
So competing against myself. So the guy that I was knocking off the path on the run, shoving in the bushes, that I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, that's funny. I
No, I'm
mean,
just kidding.
was
I
he in
didn't
your
throw
age
anybody in
group?
the
Because
bushes.
no,
I don't even know. He had a lot more gray hair, so I don't. He could have been. I'm just kidding. That's fun.
that's
No,
hilarious.
I'm really impressed with that. So back to what you were saying. So you did this your second event ever, and you qualify for Boston.
Yes.
I'm still totally geeking out on that because that's just crazy impressive for marathon number two. But let's keep going on that. So you go from two to
Okay.
past that point.
Yes, yes. So, it was one of my lab friends at work she was the one who pointed out that I qualified. She looked at my time and she said, "Oh my gosh, Kasey, you can register for Boston." And I was like, what's the big
So you
deal?"
accidentally
Uh,
qualified?
yes.
Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Oh gosh. So fast forward to, I don't know, a couple months down the road, where she was my best friend. She moved to Hawaii. And
Shoot.
she was like, "Why don't you come out and visit me this December and run the Honolulu Marathon?" So I, didn't, twist my arm, go to Hawaii. So I went out there that year in December. I ran the Honolulu Marathon was my third. And then I did register for Boston and I ran Boston and that was my fourth.
Mm.
And um, it was during that time that I had, you start running these races and you start meeting people from the running community and I heard about this thing called the 50 States Club. And I just thought, well, I have four states done, why not run the other 46?
Yeah.
So,
And well, you got Hawaii done, which is one of the harder ones to get out too, right?
exactly. Yes. Yes. So it was really then that I thought, let's just make this a really big goal. And let's cap it at I'm going to run 50 states by age 50. And I thought that was pretty reasonable, about two a year, that averaged out to be. So I started on this journey. I started looking, okay, what's the next state I'm gonna pick, and started meeting some people along the way who were also either interested in also doing it or just wanted to travel to certain places to also run there. So made some travel buddies and we started traveling to these different places and running these courses. And then I met the president of the time of the 50 sub 4 marathon club. And his name is Bob Kennedy.
Wait,
Unfortunately
50
passed
sub
away.
4. What does that mean?
So that means all 50 states under 4 hours. So a marathon in each state under 4 hours.
Oh, crap. You're a wild bunch.
Very wild. Very, very wild. Yes, so he was wearing the branded gear, the 50 sub 4, and so we started talking about it. And at that point, I think I had run 10 or 11 marathons at that point, and he said, "Well, as long as you've run in 10 different states, you can join us, and it's free, and we keep track of all your results and all of your states for you." And then at the end we send you a big beautiful trophy when you complete your 50th.
Do you
And
have that trophy?
I do have that trophy.
Do we get to see
I
it?
can sure, I will. If you hold on one second, I'll run and get it.
Yeah, let's do it. I got to see this thing.
Okay, great, I'll be right back.
Okay,
Okay, so
check that out.
here's this
So
trophy.
that logo is familiar to me. Did you have a shirt or something that had that on it when we
I
met in
did.
Pocatello? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is super cool. So that's a big deal. So number 35. So that just
Yes.
means there were 34 other females that finished that before you, is that?
Yes. Yep. I have to check the current statistics, but I think there are approximately 200 people who have done it so far, and yeah, I was the 35th
Dude,
woman.
that is exciting. Yeah,
It is.
that's rare air right there, you know?
Yes, yes.
So cool. Well, thanks
Yeah,
for
I
pulling
also
that thing out. Yeah.
oh, you're welcome. I also happened to grab this one too.
What's
So
that one?
this is the 50 States Club.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
Yeah.
if you there are no time requirements for the 50 States Club. So if you are an 8 hour marathoner, if you are a 3 hour marathoner, you you are welcome in the club, and they send you that beautiful trophy when you finish.
That is so cool. So who tracks that?
So there's a board. Um, there are I think four on the executive board of the 50 Sub 4 Club, and
Hmm.
they are just wonderful people. And it's volunteer. They track everything for everybody, and it's wonderful.
That is so neat. Yeah, I didn't realize that there was anyone tracking those kind of things. And so I just thought it was
Hmm.
all just personal goals and you just kind of did it. And yeah, that's super cool. Um,
Thank you.
so you do this thing in 50 states. You started kind of really thinking about it at, you said number 9.
Hmm.
And then this guy encourages you to, let's say, let's do all 50.
Yes.
So you're turbo fast to begin with, but then fitting all 50 of them in now. So you start heading towards this goal. When did that happen? When was that decision to really push for that?
That was, I'm gonna say, oh, it was like, I think it was around 2015 when
Okay.
I had like 9 or 10 done. Um, and I mean, also just looking at my marathon times, it's like, okay, most of them, actually, I think all of them at that point had been under 4 hours.
Hmm.
So I thought, well, why not give it a try? And that was before I had ever run my first marathon at elevation,
Okay.
which
Let's talk
was
about this because you live at what elevation?
we're about 1,000 feet here in
Okay.
Rochester, Minnesota. So um, some people, out in Pocatello, I think it was like 44,000, 4,500,
45 is
maybe
the town. The race started, I
45.
think, 48, something like that. So
Okay.
yeah,
So I think some people can maybe handle that well, but my poor lungs, I do not do well at elevation.
yeah.
So
That's
that
a
was,
switch for sure.
whew, that was quite a wake-up call. My first one at elevation was out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, which is,
Yes,
gosh, that's
almost
I
7.
don't know. That's got to be 7. Yeah, yeah. You're
Hmm. That was quite a wake-up call. Just went out there. I had no idea. But I was walking up, I think it was two two flights of stairs, but like 4 or 5 steps in each level at
yeah.
a hotel at the base of a ski resort, I think is where we stayed. And I was out of breath. 10
Like this is
steps.
not normal.
Like,
Not
oh
normal.
no, how am I gonna run 26.2 miles? I can't even walk 10 steps.
Well, talk about what that was like, because now you're like all of a sudden nervous because race day's tomorrow, and you're going, I can't even walk up the stairs.
Right, right. So, it's you just have to power through it. You just have to talk yourself into a positive mindset because you're out there, it's happening tomorrow. You've trained for this. Trust your training. Do the best you can. And maybe it's not the fastest goal. Maybe it's not your A goal. Maybe it's not your B
Mhm.
goal. Maybe it's just survive. Um, Not realizing that elevation could have such a big impact on the running. So I am still so proud of that run. It's my slowest marathon I think I've ever run, but I made it in 3 hours and 59 minutes. So I was able to count that for Wyoming.
That's wild because yeah, it doesn't really matter where in Wyoming you are, you're gonna be high, right?
Right. Yes.
I yeah, I think about like that Leadville event, the ultra run that
Oh.
they do up there. It's
Hmm.
11,000 and some change. I those that blows my mind. So it was funny. Just a few weeks before I met you, I was down in Park City, Utah for a jujitsu event, and
Oh,
I'm there
cool.
wrestling with guys, and I'm like sucking wind because they're 7,000 feet also. And
Okay.
I noticed a bunch of the people that were there were really struggling. Who just like, this is way worse than And I live at 2,700 feet. It's not like I'm I'm kind of in the middle there, and yeah, it was
Okay.
shocking to me. So I can imagine coming from 1,000 all the way up to 7,000. It's got to be tough. Uh,
It was something, definitely.
yeah. So did you end up just averaging 2 a year? It sounds like you've done a lot more than that some years.
I did. it became an addiction. I'm in a healthy addiction. So I started, my first year I did one, my second year I did two, my third year I did three, and my fourth year I did four, and then my fifth year I think I did like five or six. I did like five or six for most years. There were a couple years I did eight. Um, but now and then I've averaged about five a year since I started.
Casey, do you find that doing more a year, this was something I got thinking about as I was kind of planning for the interview. Did you find that doing more of them in a year kept you didn't have to ramp up as much, right? You kind of would, if you do 8 of them a year, you're just in shape the whole time, right? There's
Yes,
not really that much of a gap between them. Was it easier to do it that way or was it harder to do it that way?
absolutely easier. If I can recommend to the next person who wants to go for the 50 states or the six world major marathons, I think more is better. Keeping smart and safe spacing. I wouldn't recommend every weekend or every other weekend, but once a month or once every 6 or 8 weeks or so. It's very advantageous because training for a marathon, I mean, minimum of 12 weeks, usually closer to 18, depending on what's your base level. So if you're running a marathon every 6 to 8 weeks, you're
Yeah.
just kind of you're not continuously ramping up for something. You're running your main event and then you're resting or active recovery for a couple of weeks, but then you really only need to do one or two more long runs and then you're ready for that next event. So
Yeah.
you're just kind of
Oh, that's
always
cool to
ready.
know. That's cool to know because that made me wonder if like you'd be walking on the edge of overdoing it or if it would make it easier. So, um, when you're when you're doing these things, let's talk about logistics of it. Because that's something that another guest that came on here, Michaela, is 24 states or 25 now. I think she just did another one deep into
Right.
this 50 state thing, right? And she's been going at it
Okay.
for a while. But we talked a little bit about the logistics of it and what it looks like and what kind of a bite it takes out of your life to do all the traveling and you mentioned it hurts the wallet at times. And so, um,
Yes.
what what do you have to have in place? Because what do you do for a living?
I'm an education specialist, instructor of transfusion medicine at Mayo Clinic.
Okay. So you've got a full time job and you're doing these travels to you've got to fit this in. What did that look like for you?
It looks like a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of calendar notices, and significantly planning ahead. So, being super type A absolutely helps with with this type of planning.
Spreadsheets are your
So,
friend, huh?
right, yes, absolutely. So, part of that is I learned early on that when races are holding an anniversary, so like Pocatello this year, I think it was their 25th
It's
anniversary
25,
of the
wasn't it?
race.
Yeah.
Yes. So they offered this really awesome stainless steel wine tumbler. So I learned that when races are doing an anniversary year, like the medal is bigger or the swag is better, or maybe they have some other really fun special anniversary related thing. So then I started picking out states and races according to when they were going to have anniversary years, just to kind of cash in on that. So I
Clever.
could plug, thank you, thank you. So I could plug those into my calendar, and then really it was working around PTO from work. So I, getting that PTO calculator spreadsheet out and then plugging in like, okay, if I do 4 marathons this year and I'm taking off a Friday and a Monday, and then like plugging that into the calculator to see will I have enough PTO to spend the holidays with my family, which is very important to me. So if it
Yeah.
ended up being zero by the time I got to Thanksgiving, then okay, I'm not going to be able to do this race this year. I'm going to see if I can do it the next year. So,
Mm.
it was balancing time off that I was able to take at work, um, and then picking those special anniversary years for races, and then other things planned that year or the next year. So I was typically planning about 3 years out for the
You
marathons.
that's for reals. Yeah.
Yes, yes, but I had to just just with work and life and everything else. So um, it actually worked out really well, but I really have to be a planner.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you would really have to be a planner. Hey, has all that talk about salty electrolytes made you wonder what all the fuss is about? Have you thought that maybe one day you'd like to try that stuff? Well, today's your lucky day because Salty Electrolytes is offering free samples to listeners of this podcast who have not yet tried this amazing electrolyte supplement. All you have to do is head on over to goearnyourSalt.com and use the code PODSAMPLE at checkout to receive your free sample kit. There will also be a link in the description of this podcast. And now, let's get back to the show. What did your training schedules through the week? I'm really curious to see what that looked like, especially through this time. It doesn't sound like you've slowed down much since you finished. But what does a week look like? What is your training schedule? Daily runs, workouts, that's that sort of thing.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I my training week typically starts on a Saturday. So I plan Saturday is my long run. Um, that's typically the day that I have the most time to get that long run done and then
Mm-hmm.
sufficiently recover from it. So um, long run Saturday, and then usually a short recovery run or cross training on Sunday. So a lot of times that would be a walk. I love walking. Um, Monday is typically a day of rest. If possible, maybe a yoga class, but Mondays would usually be completely rest. Tuesday,
You're not
track
running
day.
at all. Yeah.
I no, not anymore. I used
Mm.
to do, oh, I'll just do 3 or 4 miles, but no. No, now that I'm getting a little bit older, it's Monday's a
Yeah.
rest day. Tuesday, track. So track workout, speed intervals, 400s, 800s, mile repeats, things like that.
Mm.
Wednesday would be an easy, anywhere from 6 to 8 miles. Just whatever my body is feeling like. No time limit and no pressure of speed. And then Thursday is either tempo or hill repeats.
When you
So
say tempo,
marathon.
will you line out what tempo means for the audience?
Sure. So tempo. So for the Pocatello Marathon, I was actually shooting for a 750 per mile pace. So my tempo runs on Thursdays would be 5 or 6 miles at 750 pace. Um, and if it was a hill repeat day, I had a three hills that I would
Mm-hmm.
rotate, and hill in Minnesota, it really doesn't compare at all to Idaho.
Yeah, there's a difference between hills and mountains, huh?
Right, right. Huge difference. So just try to find the biggest hill and then kind of vary that workout as well. So some Thursdays would be sprint up the hill, or some days it would just be, just get up the hill however you can, and then casually run back down, and then repeat that however many times. Fridays typically also another rest day because coming off that tempo or hill work day, usually my legs were pretty fried, and then Saturday is the long run day. So Friday would either be rest or maybe a short walk as well.
I'm impressed. You talk about doing track work, and I've got this guy I know. I met him on Instagram. That's an ultra runner.
Okay.
We were just talking, and he sent me over a screenshot of his map my run workout for this
Okay.
50-mile race he did. It was like 52 miles or something on a track.
Oh, on a
And it was just
track.
this circle with just it looked like spaghetti bowl and that was just it made me sick because I'm an out and back guy. I feel like out and
Hmm.
backs are like that turnaround point is halfway, and that's in my mind. I'm done at that point, and so the run back's just getting back. It doesn't really in my head,
Yes.
whatever reason, emotionally, it doesn't tally more miles on. It's like, oh, I hit the point. I'm just going back. So it's a
Right.
psychological
Halfway
thing
there.
completely. But I thought about running 50 miles on a track, round and round and round. It's like I would quit running if that was what we had to do all the time.
That is a mental toughness that I don't know if I could do that. Running that many laps on the track. I got sick of, eight or 6 to 8 800 repeats. I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that being said, what's your favorite? Are you do you like loops? Do you like out and backs? Do you like what's your preference?
I think it's a solid tie between out and back, especially when I absolutely love it in races when there's an out and back where you can see other people participating and waving and saying "good job." That just gives me a huge boost just to see other runners and
And they're coming back the other way and they're waving at you and saying you're almost there,
yes,
that kind of thing. Yeah.
yes, that kind of thing. So I love the out and backs. I also love the point to point because uh, you're seeing new scenery the entire way. Everything
Yes.
is an adventure. It's something new. So it's a tough tie for me because I love the point to point where I'm just seeing new things the entire way versus the out and back if it's a course where you're lined up and you get to high five or say good job to other runners as they're going out and coming back. So
Well, what do you think? Have you've kind of got this? So the 50 state goal is huge, right?
hmm
I've actually mentioned a couple times on the podcast that when I was doing the half marathons and triathlons, there was always that letdown after a race. And I remember I would train and train and train. And the training part's fun to me. I just that constant having a goal, checking the box off for the day. I did my workout,
yes.
but then the event's done, and I get this just like, what do I do tomorrow? Like I don't have
hmm
this. The plan's done. Like all the check marks are in all the boxes, and what
Right.
did you do to deal with that? Is that did that factor into why you went with the 50 states and this just super long goal?
Absolutely. That is such a common feeling for I think any endurance athlete or anybody who's training for a big event and then they do that because you're training for so long for that one day for that one event and then you do it and then like you said the next day well what do I do where do I go from here so
Yeah,
having another race on the calendar, just like, okay, well, done with this one, so gonna take a couple rest days, and I'm just gonna get back at it. I'm gonna train for the next one, because there's just such an incredible feeling crossing a finish line. So, and like you said, the training part's really fun too.
yeah.
Um, the whole journey and the feeling of accomplishment every day that you got that workout done and you got to check that box off.
That I love that sort of a thing, and it was. I mentioned that I do the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu thing, right? And
Yes.
the part about that was attractive to me, one of the factors to it was a black belt in Jiu Jitsu is a 10 to 15-year journey. And I was like,
Wow.
that's something I can do and not have that let down for like a decade, and then it turns out here in about a month, that's what I'll be hitting that black belt point, and I'm scared to death that I'm gonna that let down again.
Oh,
And yeah, it's not like I've finished anything. There's still plenty of In fact, I just hitting black belt is the point when you realize how little you know. And so it's going to be a lifelong pursuit, but it scared me that I'm going to have that. And I've talked to other guys who did have that kind of a
hmm
bonk at the end of that thing. And I want to bring that back to where you are though. So you get this 50 state trophy. Did you feel it then?
I so yeah, yes and no. I did feel it for a little bit. like wow, it was almost I mean it was surreal that it took me 12 years to do this, and it happened, and it was in Alaska. So got back to Minnesota, and I did feel like, huh, okay, that's it, you know?
Well, because the other people at the finish line in Alaska didn't know that that was your 50th state, so they're just like doing the normal golf
Right.
clap as you go through the line, like, "Yeah, good job."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Oh, but then, so there was, I mean, COVID really messed up my plans. Because like I mentioned, I'd planned so far in advance, and it was such an unknown time, and everything got canceled or rescheduled. So it took a lot of time to reschedule and get that all set. Um, so I finished in 2023. So short, not so long after things started opening back up again. And when I got down to my last five, at that point, I just kind of felt I was very excited that I'm this close, five marathons away. But with the uncertainty that happened, a few years earlier with things getting canceled and things getting moved around, it was also just a lot of pressure and feeling of now I just want to get this done. It's not so much more about like, oh, this amazing journey that I'm about to accomplish. It's I hope I can accomplish this. I hope I
Yeah.
can get these done. Just kind of feeling the pressure set in over the
Yeah, because
last five marathons.
some of the races never came back, right? Some of those,
Right.
the organization dissolved because COVID killed them, right?
Right. Yes.
Not literally,
Yes. No.
hopefully.
Right. No. No. Yeah. A lot of the organizations that ran the races or the people who are the race directors, yeah, they just said done, or maybe the organization doesn't have money to fund the race anymore or something. So I did feel it a little bit, but I put so much time and training into 12 years of marathoning to finally feel this moment that I also felt a huge sense of relief, and that okay, maybe I'm just gonna chill for the next year, um, before I really set my next huge running goal. I'm also a race pacer, for a lot of races. So I
Tell people
did
what that
say,
means.
oh yes. So essentially I'm assigned a finish time. So I pace a lot of half marathons, and I usually get assigned the 1 hour and 50 minutes finish time. So I'm going to carry a sign, and it's going to have the minute per mile, which is about an 8:24 minute per mile pace. And if you run with me, I'm going to keep a steady pace, within 5 to 10 seconds of that pace for the entire race. So if your goal is 1 hour and 50 minutes to finish a half marathon, if you run with me, you will get that time. You'll get that finish time.
Casey, how do you gauge that? Are you gauging it by feel? Do you have some device that does that? Or how do you gauge that pace?
I usually I usually pay a lot of attention to my smartwatch, which keeps me on track. So I do it after a while it becomes feel. I can feel, "Oh, okay, maybe we're going a little bit faster right now. Oh, okay, maybe we need to go a little bit, pull back a little bit." But if I'm paying attention to my watch, it has GPS, and it has the minute per mile pace right on the screen.
Yeah.
So usually every half mile or so, I'm peeking down at my watch just to make sure that we're within 5 to 10 seconds of my assigned mile pace.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I knew that certain runners had pacers that would come in and pace with them, but I didn't realize it was like you'd carry a sign. Yeah, I mean, you telling me that right now is the first time I've ever even heard of that. So,
Oh,
uh,
okay. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. So like ultra marathoners, you can have your friends crew you. So
Yeah.
you have a group of people who will run with you for a certain amount of miles and maybe carry your nutrition,
Yeah.
help guide you to the next aid station or whatever. So that in the ultra marathon world, but in road racing, yeah, we carry a sign, and at the start of the race, we're going to be lined up early with our signs held up pretty high so you can see, oh, maybe I want to run a 2-hour half marathon today, or maybe I want to go for a 1:30 half marathon. So you'll go into your running corral and you'll find your pacer with whatever goal finish time you're thinking about for that day, and just get lined up with that person. Um, and then usually I like to chat with the people who are standing around me, and just get to know them a little bit, and what's your
Sure.
goal today, where are you from, is this your first half, and I like to distract them, tell ridiculous jokes or make up like weird facts that are not factual about the course.
Okay. Tell me this. Out of these races you've done, what's been the hardest one for you to complete? You mentioned Jackson Hole and finishing just barely under 4 hours, but what's been the
Yes.
most difficult?
That's it. That
That
is
was the
that
one,
is
huh?
that so that one, and then a very, very close second would be Boston in 2018. So Jackson Hole was just simply the elevation. It
Mm-hmm.
was also downpouring the entire race, and it
Ooh.
was there was one point. So you start in the town square with the antler arch. If
Yeah.
you've ever been there, okay,
Yeah, I
and
grew up
then
about 2 hours from there. So
oh
we'd
my
vacation a
gosh,
lot. Yeah.
okay, okay. So
Yeah,
so
I
that's
grew up
where
in
we
Pocatello,
started.
right? And that's just, yeah, it's a couple hours from Jackson Hole. So
You're close. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, we ran, I don't know, somehow we got out to the Grand Teton Village, the ski
Hmm.
area with the big gondola. That was the finish line. But we were running on some trail headed toward that ski resort, and it was raining so hard and there was so much water. It was up to my calves, that the water
Oh,
that we were
you're
running
waiting.
through. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Um, it also hailed at one point for like a solid 10 minutes. I was suddenly wondering, like, what's keeps hitting my face, that really hurts, and then it's hail. um and then the elevation. So if you look at an elevation map of that course, you run up
Yeah.
from the town square up to the village. I think you
Up to
gain
two.
about
Yeah.
500 or 600 feet in elevation,
That's
um,
brutal.
over that course. So that still is my most difficult run. And then Boston 2018, I can't believe that race went on. It was about 35, 36 degrees, and it was
Mm.
raining so hard I couldn't even see. Like it was like running through a waterfall. So just really, really cold and torrential rain. And I was running with my best friend Megan. It was her first time ever running Boston, and we were just doing everything possible to hold each other accountable. Like, you're not walking, okay? You're not walking, and we're not stopping. We just have to keep going. We just have to keep moving because it was so cold to um, and we finally got back to our hotel room. We crossed the finish line, and um, Boylston Street is the name of the street of where the finish line is located. And this is so funny. Runners are kind of obsessed with their finish line photos. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
they want to look, like Olympians when they're crossing the finish line. I don't care. I'm just happy to finish, but all the raincoats and gloves, like people were wearing like rubber surgical gloves and like those yellow kitchen gloves just to
Anything
try to
even.
stay dry. Everything, garbage bags, ponchos were lining the road because people were stripping off all their waterproof stuff to try to get the best finish line photo. So we were actually just, we had to look down to try to avoid all the
Tripping on
discarded
those things.
stuff from all the other runners. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is so funny because yeah, I think every sport has a little bit of diva, where people want to kind of pose a little bit more than they normally would, right?
Right.
So, yeah, they're doing this whole race in a rain poncho, but then they're like, oh, finish line's coming up. Cameras are going to be there. So we're going to strip it off,
Exactly.
act like we've been doing this the whole time. Oh.
Yes.
I don't know. I did it too, though. I ran faster as that last, 100 yards. When I come around the corner where people could actually see me, I'd step up the pace, just act like I've
Oh
been doing that
yeah.
the whole time. I mean, they're looking at the clock. They know I haven't, but oh my goodness. Okay,
Love it.
what's your favorite favorite shoe type? So I told you I was barefoot runner, and if I'm doing anything where I can't go barefoot, I do the minimalist shoe. But what do you like? You like the new platform ones that are 3 inches thick, or do you go more minimal?
I do. I'm so impressed, first of all, that you're a minimalist or barefoot runner. I tried it a couple times, and I think my feet. I'm just so used to running in shoes and like super cushioned shoes that I was hurting for a couple
Yeah.
days.
No, it,
But
it hurts. When you first start doing it, it hurts in weird ways too, because
okay.
yeah, your feet are not ready for it. I always tell people, I said the first time you go barefoot, a quarter mile, and then put your shoes back on and finish whatever else you're gonna do, but don't go farther than that, and do that for a couple
Okay.
weeks before you move up, because those that took some time. It did. I learned the
I'll
hard way.
remember that if I ever try it again. Take it easy.
Yeah. But I've been
I
shocked about how the newer shoes, man, they've gotten so thick. It's wild. It's like people went minimalist for a while. It's kind of the trend, and then that flopped way the other way. And I looked at some of the stuff at the marathon that the guys at Pocatello Running had there, and I was shocked about how thick those things were.
Yes, the shoes. Holy cow, you're absolutely right. The shoes have really evolved in height and cushion. Um, I am on the bandwagon of those shoes. I like my Nike Vaporflies and Nike Alpha Flies are just in my opinion just top notch for racing. I look back at some of my old race photos and I'm wearing these heavy shoes and I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
Like how did I run under 4 hours in those heavy shoes now that I have these super fast carbon plated, like magical racing shoes. Um, my everyday runs, I switch it up. I have the Brooks Hyperion. I wear the Nike Pegasus. I like the Brooks Ghost. Whatever for daily training runs and long runs. But then for racing, I switch over to those carbon plated shoes, and there's a huge difference.
You
I
feel
I
it,
just
huh?
feel so fast.
Do you, do you, business owners, I want to talk to you for a second. Do you have a retail space inside your location? If so, I want you to think about something. Your customers are buying electrolytes. You know that, right? The problem is they're not buying them from you. Well, Salty Electrolytes can help fix that with their wholesale program. They can bring these sales to you in-house so that your customers get the electrolytes they love from the company they love, you. All you have to do is head over to goearnyourSalt.com and scroll to the bottom of the page and click Apply for Wholesale. Do it now before you forget. I know your type, I'm one of you. Once again, that's goearnyourSalt.com. The link is at the bottom of the homepage. There will also be a link in the description on this video. And now, my friends, go earn your salt. Do you, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. Do you feel like with these tall shoes, do you ever feel like ankle sprains are a thing? I would worry about that myself because I noticed I stopped having that problem at all when I took my shoes off. But I see those, I'm like, I always picture those model runways with the big platforms and their ankles are folding over and they're falling off.
Yes, yes. So the vapor flies, the Nike vapor flies, they're very thin. Um, they're I have significant concern when I know that there's like cobblestone, or if part of the course is, I don't know, under construction, or if there's any gravel or anything like that, because those shoes are significantly not stable. Um,
Yeah,
the Alpha Flies are a lot better. They're a lot wider on the base of the shoe. Um, but most of the other super shoes, I think they're okay in that area. Most of them are wider, um, so a little bit more like sturdier of a base. But
sure.
the Vaporflies, there's no grip either. They're very slippery, and
Are those
skinny on
are
the
they like
bottom.
a foam bottom? Do they even have rubber on them?
Right? Yeah, they're just foam.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've seen those. I remember the name Fly in there. Anyways, it was some Nike
Okay.
that it was like foam, but they were just sliced through, so they flexed really
Yes.
well. And yeah,
Yeah, they're very very flexible.
very bendy. That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, hey, this is called Kasey. This is called the Go Earn Your Salt podcast. And when you hear that term, "Go Earn Your Salt," it's written right here on my T-shirt.
Yeah, I
it's
love it. I
it's
love the shirt.
what comes to mind when you hear that term?
Go earn your salt. So that what comes to mind is it's just hard training. So you're training hard enough that you're sweating. So maybe a cardio event, in a good way,
Yeah,
cardio training event. Um, so you're working hard, you're sweating, and you're earning that big delicious beverage during and after training to resupply all the salt that you've lost in your sweat.
yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, it just takes me back to some of the stuff because I had an interview earlier with a guy who was saying the whole reason he works out, he's a CrossFit guy, and the whole
Okay.
reason he works out is so he can eat more.
Yes.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. So
Yes.
outside of running, what is your favorite pastime?
I love singing. I sing in a band.
Oh,
So
cool.
most weekends I'm out performing with the group.
What kind of music you guys do?
We do country covers.
Dude, um, you should. Is there a place we could find that and have a link to it?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we're so the name is Branded Hot Country, and it's just brandedhotcountry.com. But we're on Instagram.
Brandedhotcountry.com.
Yes. Instagram
I'm just
and
writing.
bands in town.
That is awesome. Um, cool. Yeah, I want to
Thank
make
you.
sure we put that in the show notes.
Oh,
Um,
thanks. I'd love that.
something quirky about you that people don't know.
Quirky. Gosh, I have a
Besides
lot
the
of
whole
quirky
platform
things.
shoes thing.
Let's see. I probably the quirkiest thing is I just love Halloween. And if I ruled the world, Halloween would be more than one day. It would
Be a
be
month.
the whole, at least the month of October. But I have Halloween decorations year round. Like not my whole house. There, I just have a few things up for Halloween year round.
That's so
That's
funny.
probably the quirkiest thing.
We'll start busting out Christmas music here in about a month. We're that way about Christmas. It would be.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
Yeah. We
I
get a lot
love
of
it.
flack for it, but yeah, we'll have Bing Crosby going here probably first part of October.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and he
Yes.
usually lasts until late February too. So
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I think until the snow melts, which could be June. Some
yeah,
people keep their Christmas lights up, so totally fine.
if there's snow on the ground, there's got to be Christmas lights.
Right.
That's a given.
They go together.
Okay, so listen, are you a pizza eater?
Love pizza.
Is it ever okay to put the sauce on top of the cheese and the other toppings?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna say yes. I've never tried it. I don't think I've ever seen it. Is this an Idaho thing?
No, no,
Okay.
goodness, no. I would move. It's I see it with like deep dish pizzas, maybe the Chicago style. I thought, you're much closer
Oh,
to
mhm.
Chicago than I am. Maybe you'd seen that before, but I just don't think it's okay. I think there's certain standards we should uphold, and that's not one of them.
So as long as there's, the cheese to everything else ratio is at least double, I don't care where the sauce is,
You
but
might
it
have a
has to be
point there.
has to be mostly cheese.
Maybe that's the hmm. Yeah, you got a point there.
Okay.
You might could change my mind if the cheese to ratio. So you're saying double the cheese to sauce. That's
hmm
yeah, there's something there probably. Okay, I'm not going to pretend to be totally rigid on that then. We'll
Okay. I'm just
um
imagining this like super deep dish pizza where it's, mostly cheese and the crust is like what a solid probably 4 inches tall. And then,
yeah, when you
there's
get
some
those big
sauce
old
on
deep
it.
pans.
hmm
Yeah, I suppose ratios matter, don't they? We should get a
They
t-shirt
do.
built that says ratios matter. Just have a chunk
Yeah.
of cheese and oh. Um
Yes.
scariest moment of your life.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Ah. hmm. I've had a couple scary moments. It's running related. Surprise, surprise.
Mm.
My first Boston was in 2013 when it was bombed.
Oh, wow.
So we were right in the thick of things when the bombs went off. Like we weren't right
Mm.
there at the finish line, but we were a couple blocks away. So that was pretty scary. Mostly because we were kind of under lockdown and there was a lot of military personnel with like big machine guns and stuff um, guarding the doors of the hotel and then that the person or people we didn't know at the time who did it were still at large.
Yeah, so you don't know if
So
more's coming, right?
right.
So yeah, just a couple blocks away, so you would have heard it and everything. I mean, you
We thought it
for
was
sure.
fireworks because I mean we it's like it's the Boston Marathon. It's
Yeah.
come to find out it's kind of a big deal and we just thought, oh, it's fireworks.
Yeah, I see those crowds at those things. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see people wanting to do that kind of crap, but
It is.
just the amount of bodies stuck in one place, it's blocks and blocks and blocks. And then some friends of ours did. I kind of think it was Chicago. It's been a long time ago, but they did that event and they said, the timer goes off, the start pistol or whatever, however they start it. Um, and it was like an hour before they got across the start line, from the time
hmm
it, and so just
So
because
many
there's so many
runners.
people, because there's hundreds of thousands of people that do those things, and so have that going on, lockdowns, that sort of thing. Yeah, that would be absolutely terrifying.
It's just yes, there are just so many unknown pieces surrounding that event. So yeah, it was pretty scary.
Man, tell me this: what's a bucket list? I mean, what's next for you?
I have I have a big goal that I'm almost scared to announce. But I'm hoping to run 10 Bostons in a row.
Ooh,
And according to the Boston Athletic Association, you officially become a legacy runner. And then when you're trying to qualify for the race, um, you just have to qualify for your age and gender. You don't have to try to run it 10 minutes faster or 20 minutes faster. Um, So that's a big goal. And what makes me nervous to say that is that we're currently awaiting the cutoff time for the 2026 Boston Marathon. So I already have six in a row.
okay.
So
So we talked about this off air, and I kind of had forgotten that we didn't bring it back around to actually on air. Was your Pocatello marathon that you did was a qualifier for Boston.
Yes.
But Boston has not yet announced the time. So in previous years, your finish time would qualify you. But you're still in that nerve wracking wait, right? Of waiting to
Yes.
hear what the qualification actual cutoff is.
Yes. And it's going to be any day now. I think I mean within the next week they're going to announce what is it?
So you're keeping an eye out close, huh?
I am. I,
Because, yeah, you're already six deep. So this will mark 7 if you get in. Is that?
yes.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, so I'm so close. I'm over the hump of halfway, and it's just such a a big thing that would be really cool um to accomplish. And then
Yeah.
m- also to run a marathon on every continent.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that explains why you had such a small letdown because you've gone now, boom, just set other bigger goals, right?
Yes.
Nice. So, what happens if for some reason the cutoff time you didn't make it with Pocatello? Are there other events you can do that would to still qualify?
Unfortunately, no.
That's the
They have
last
a
hurrah.
it's the last hurrah. They have a very specific cutoff for qualifying. So my other option would be I could find a charity, one of the charities that supports the Boston Marathon, and apply to that. They have a certain amount of bibs that they're given, and I think that would be my next step if I didn't qualify. I'd try to run for charity.
Yeah. I mean, it sounded to me talking to you that you're fairly sure you're going to qualify, but you just
Oh, I
don't
hope
quite
so. I just
exactly
don't
know.
know. I feel like I'm on the line. I didn't I didn't run any of my races in the qualifying window super fast. I was mostly injured for the entirety of 2024.
Oh
So
no.
really just coming back from a year of injury and trying to run as fast and as hard as I can, but I didn't get the times this year that I did prior to 2024. So I do feel very nervous and borderline for this go around.
Many. Yeah, that's now I'm even more nervous. Do you will you please let me know cuz I want to when your episode of this podcast probably is going to come out in kind of early December is what
Okay,
it looks like at this point. And so when does the actual race, the one's Boston, take place?
it'll be April the third Monday in April.
Okay.
So I think this at the
Well, yeah.
20th.
Let me know how that qualification goes because I would love
I
to
will.
let people know because they're not going to know by the end of this episode, but I can add a little blurb in there to let them know if you ended up qualifying at the
Okay,
very
I will.
very end of the episode. So,
Yes.
Kasey, what's a book that you would recommend everyone read?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, I I'm in the middle of a book called Make It Stick.
Yeah,
And maybe this is more geared toward my educator friends, but it's so far it's fascinating and it gives kind of reimagines studying and remembering um, key important facts that you probably need for your job or for like a board certification exam or something. Um, so I'm only about halfway through the book right now, but I'm kind of fascinated by it, and it's really kind of changed my thinking of even how I'm teaching my students. So I love that book. Otherwise, I'm looking at my collection over here. Oh, a good book for everybody. I'm such a nerd. I'm into like um, the Hunger Games and things like
my son
that.
loves those.
Oh, they're
I
great. They're
fi-
great.
I figured
Uh,
you'd be into like Microsoft Excel workbooks or something. I don't know
oh,
by the way you've been talking about spreadsheets.
No,
Have all my medals in order.
that's about as nerdy as I get there.
I love it. That's so awesome. Um,
Oh,
well, look, do you document your runs on the social media anywhere?
I do. Yes, I
Yeah.
I'm on Strava.
Oh, you're a
Yes.
Strava hero, huh?
I I don't know if you call me a hero, but do you like Strava? So Garmin, I just my Garmin watch, it just syncs with Strava, so
Yeah. Strava's cool because they add that social component into it, right? Where you can friend
hmm
people and then everybody can see your runs and then you guys can compete on little medals of King of the Hill and all the different,
yes.
different
Yeah,
awards you
little
can win on there. And
yeah, giving each other
shoot.
kudos and, props on your run or your whatever, your bike ride or something. So,
Yeah. I love it because we've got a cyclist here, Kristen Armstrong, she was in the Olympics and stuff. She's just a
yeah.
killer on a bicycle, and she lives right here local, and she's on Strava here, and so it's fun to see just how pathetic I look compared to an Olympic level athlete. It's just we'll pedal up the same section of hill, and I'm like, she literally did that in half the time that I do
Isn't
it in.
that wild? I mean, I I was talking we talk frequently in our running community about, just having it could be the most talented person in your cycling group or running group, somebody who, usually gets first place in their age group or something, and send them to the Olympics with
Yeah,
these unicorns, who are
unicorns.
just
Yes.
right, like just genetically not even close to the rest of us, and you are inspired by this person who consistently gets first in their age group, but they're running against these unicorns and they don't even have a chance, and it just
No.
puts it into perspective.
So marathon is kind of a weird thing because you're fast, but the really fast people, the people setting the world record times, when you compare to that, it's mind boggling, isn't it? It's like they're
Oh,
almost double. Like
yeah, they're like a solid hour and a half faster than me.
yeah, and your time's already fast. It blows my mind. I think
Thanks.
the first time I saw one of those in person and they go by and I'm realizing they're going to do an entire marathon at that pace and I can't even run that fast flat out. I can't do 100
just
yards in
just for
that
one
speed.
mile, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
can't do 100
crazy how
yards
fast
that
they're running.
speed,
Yeah,
because they're averaging over 13 miles an hour if I remember right, somewhere around there. Like
it's blazing fast.
sub 5 minute miles for 26 miles. And blows my mind. Yeah. And every endeavor I've ever seen with world class athletes of any kind has shocked me at just how fast they really are.
hmm
It's
and
yeah.
so strong,
I've
and
never
yeah, like
seen one of those
you're
guys in an actual marathon or half that I've been running because they're already done by the time I start. But
that's
oh
so
man,
funny. Oh,
well, this has been, gosh, just a pleasure having you on. Such a fun conversation. Just it's what you've achieved is impressive. Where you're going from here, it's impressive. Keep up the good work.
oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and thank you for having me.
It's been a joy, Kasey. It's been super cool.
I
I
feel the
wish you,
same. This is great opportunity.
yeah, I wish you well. And listen, go earn your salt, okay?
Yeah, thanks, Riley. You too. Go get
All right.
that black belt.
Oh, shoot. Boom, hopefully. Hey, you've just finished up this episode, and I want to know, are you or someone you know a getting after it, go earn your salt type of person? If so, message me directly on Instagram at the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, and perhaps we can have you on the show. Also, if you like this content, leave us a review, subscribe, and share with your friends. And perhaps this podcast can help you and them go earn your salt.